everyone, it's Julia. I recently found these at my Dollar Tree store. They are wall creations. I think you're supposed to just remove them and stick them on your wall for a little decor. But I am going to use them as just a template to draw around, and then I'm going to stitch around them. And I believe I'm going to use some of my inktense to add some color to them. When I saw these, I kind of already knew what kind of project I wanted to make with them. We go south in the winter, and I belong to a quilt club down there, and every year we get together and have like a little party, and we have a gift exchange, and we know a few months ahead of time what our theme is going to be. And this year it is Southwest, so it can be anything themed Southwest. It could be just the colors of the Southwest, and you can make little wall hangings or pillows, or just, you know, use your imagination and for this little gift exchange. I thought I would make a bag or a tote and use this as part of the design. I wanted to share with you some of these totes that I bought. I'll link them down below for you. I got them on Amazon. They are very lightweight, and when I was reading the reviews on them, it mentioned that they were very lightweight. But I just wanted to use this as a base fabric, so it didn't matter to me. I like it because I like the size of this, and also the straps. The straps are just over the not a crossbody, but a shoulder length strap, and this just saves a lot of time when I'm just creating things for my store. So I'm just, you know, grateful for the straps, and then the top is nicely finished off as well. I want to share with you another tote that I made using this as a base. I do cut this up down the side and the bottom, and I will show you that later, so it lays flat, and then I can just create on it. But this is what they look like. I do box the corner or the bottoms as well. This particular bag tote, when it comes to me, it does not have, it just has a square bottom on it. But by adding the layers of this is like an upholstery sample. There's a lot of reclaimed pieces on here. And then I also add a lining, and I do put like a zippered pocket in it, Velcro top, and then the back I usually add a big old pocket, just a patch pocket. Most of the items in this particular tote are things that I either people have gifted me. Someone sent me this. It's just, I love it. It's just words. Once in a lifetime, less is more, adventure, that type of thing. It's just really cute. And then this I picked up at the, I believe, the flea market. And it was an unfinished piece of embroidery. It actually still had a rusty needle in it. So it was a project someone just set aside and never finished. But really a cool look. And so that is what I'm going to create. I'm going to do something similar to this. I'll share with you some of the fabrics. I just went through and tried to find some fabrics that I thought were somewhat a Southwest look. This one I'm going to use for the lining. Also, I wanted to mention that these bags come in many different colors. I chose the brown just because it's just a neutral color, and it works really well for all of my designs. I found this at the thrift store. It was actually half price, so it was $1.25. Just a gimp. I'll probably use some of that on there. Other things that I found, this was also a thrift store find. It was a whole yard for $3, but I love the colors in it. It does have some of the Southwest, but then I like this added pink, and I might use pink for one of the pots or something, just to kind of tie that together. Love this piece too, and they just go well together. And then I also found this one, and this also is thrifted. I believe it was a curtain. It has a nice hem on it already, and I'm going to use that for the patch pocket and use this hem that's already complete as the top of the pocket. So that's all I'm going to share with you right now. Let's just get started and just start building on this. First thing I'm doing is just opening the side and the bottom of this tote so I can build my fabrics on top of it. And just use this as my base. Now these little templates like have a sticky back, and I'm just going to lay them on my fabric. I'm using a 10-ounce heavy canvas here, and I ripped it so that it's frayed all the way around. I like using this canvas. I can stitch really easily on it and it doesn't pucker or anything. And I'm just using my heat erase pen, and I'm just drawing around these little templates. Got all that done, and I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and stitch those lines. And I'm using a dark brown thread, and this is just an all-purpose thread. And I have a bobbin thread or a lighter weight thread in the bobbin. I'll link all my supplies down below if anybody's interested. It will be in Amazon links. And I'm just tracing or just sewing right on the line that I drew. I do have my free motion foot on, and I have my feed dogs dropped. And you notice there I am turning this somewhat just so that I can see a little bit better. When you're in free motion, you can go forwards and backwards, so it's not always necessary to turn your project. But I sometimes do just so I can see a little bit better. I'm removing that heat erase pen now just with an iron, and I just used I did use a drop cloth or a cloth on top of that, just like a press cloth. You do not, I mean, I've burnt my thread before, and that's just, don't do that. And so using a press cloth really helps on that. And again, bringing out my inktense pencils. These are my favorite little things to color with. And they are like a watercolor pencil that you activate. And I'm activating with, I'm using my fabric medium for this. But you can activate with water, you can activate with aloe vera gel. I do like to blend a few colors together. I'm not going to show you all of this, but just a little. You can, like I said, do more than one color and just keep adding colors. And I love the layered look. It's just coloring, and it is just really a lot of fun. Now these inktense pencils, once they're activated and dry, they are quite waterproof. I've had a lot of really good luck with them. It's just a fun way to add color to your project. And this is what I ended up with. I did draw in some of the colors, or just bring some of the colors in from some of the fabrics that I'm going to be using. Now for the lining, I'm cutting it the same dimension as this tote. And I also cut a pocket. My pocket measures about 12 inches by about 19 inches. And I've chosen a zipper too. The zipper is, I believe, an 18-inch zipper. I do cut some of it off. First thing I'm going to do is just fold up about an inch on the long side of this lining. And I'm adding my zipper. I'm going to draw out a rectangle. My rectangle is about an inch in from both sides of my pocket. So I'm drawing this on the wrong side of my pocket right now. And I just draw this rectangle, and then I put a little line down the center, and that's going to be the cut line. Adding some pins to this. And then I'm going to be taking this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to just stitch that rectangle all the way around. And when I stitch this, I'm going to be using a fairly tight stitch. Probably like about a 2.0. And then once that is cut, I'm going to just, or sewn, I'm just going to cut right down the center of it. And then I'm going to cut in a triangle into the corners, being very careful not to cut my stitching. And then I've just brought everything through to the back side and giving this rectangle a good press. Once I have this all pressed, I am going to be laying my zipper underneath this little rectangle. But first I do like to stitch a couple stitches across that zipper end. And then I just pin my zipper into place. And then we'll stitch that all the way around. And now my pocket's almost complete. I just want to sew the sides and the top of it. And then that little extra zipper there will be cut off. And here I am pinning the top of it. And we'll be stitching. And then I'm going to stitch the side seams of my lining, and also then I also box the corners, and here I am cutting those box corners off. And I can lay my lining to the side and finish my top of my tote. I cut this one piece. This is a heavier upholstery fabric. It's so pretty, and I'm going to use that as the major part of my bag. And I cut it pretty much the same dimension as that tote, except I left it about a 1/2 inch from the top. And I'm just pinning this on, and I'm going to be taking this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to be stitching just horizontal lines right, kind of going right with the pattern of this fabric. And now for my pocket, and again that pocket is already finished on the top, and I'm just turned under the sides and the bottom, and we'll pin this on the back of my tote. And then I'll be taking this to my sewing machine, and we'll be just sewing this on. I like to backstitch a couple of times on the top, just because that's a stress point, just to secure that. I'm going to be adding Velcro to my closure on the top. Just an easy way to close your bag. This is sticky Velcro, and I did stick it on my shirt a couple times just because I don't want it to gum up my needle, just to get some of that stickiness off. If you're wondering what I was doing with that Velcro, I just kind of took the backing and I stuck it to my shirt a few times. This is a lace skirt that I picked up at the thrift store, and I'm going to cut just a part of this bottom lace off to add to the top. Now I have not sewn that Velcro in at all. I'm going to lay this lace on top, and when I sew this lace on, the Velcro also will be sewn on. Then I thought this gimp would look really kind of neat on the top too, so I'm going to add that. And I just sewed that. And then, like I said, that Velcro then is also sewn. And now just wanted to see how I want to put my little design. I have, my tote is still open, but I did fold it just to make sure I get this in the center. I've got this other piece that just, the colors are just great with it. And it kind of has that southwest look, so I want to add that underneath just for a little detail. And then I still had a little piece of that pocket too, that with the hem. Thought I'd add that, and then maybe some of the gimp down below too. I just kind of fiddling around here and just seeing what I like. And this is what I ended up with. I just stitched that little design right on the top. And this added a little bit more fabric underneath it. Almost done here. I'm just going to close up this tote, putting the right sides together, and I'll stitch all the way around. And then I will be boxing the corners too. And once those are all sewn, I'm going to just trim this boxed corner off. I'm poking those corners out. It's starting to look like something. It kind of was a lot, but it's working out. Now just sticking that lining inside, and this is why I folded that top of that lining way at the beginning. I ironed that, and because I am going to stitch that into place, but I want it to go below the below that Velcro. So I'm just going to be stitching all the way around this just to secure that lining. Just adding some pins. And then like I said, I'm just going to stitch all the way around. And we are finished. It turned out quite it's a considering I started with a really thin tote, there's enough fabric on here that it's a nice weight. So I'm really pleased with how that turned out, and the little zippered pocket is great, especially with just a Velcro top. It is nice to have a secured zippered pocket on the inside. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. Hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.